Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dayspring Discussions, the show where we talk about comic books, movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am Sean McGahee, your host, and joining me again today is Mr. Joshua Del Angel. Josh, welcome back, bud.
Hey, bud. How you doing today?
It is good, man. I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff, man. We did a late show last week on Thursday. Tuesday, we had an early one. There's a lot of stuff that came out yesterday, so I'm excited, man.
Definitely, man. When I saw the script, I got pumped. I'm ready, man.
You have a good Halloween weekend?
Halloween was epic, man, and very interesting.
Yes, now it's time for Christmas. Supposedly.
Apparently, November 1st, it is officially Christmas time.
I tell you, man, yeah, in the store, we started playing Christmas music right away. I cannot believe it. I'm one of those guys, though. I like to take the holidays as they come, so I love Christmas. I love Christmas music, but I don't start listening to it until Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving, so I want to take the holidays as they come. But all the stores are already preparing for it. It's a wave, man. It's coming
already, man.
But really, man, to me, it's not a countdown to Christmas. To me, it's a countdown to Star Wars. So excited! But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Okay. So coming up first, guys, just so you know, Josh and I are going to run through the news stories that happened in this last week here, comment on them. If you have any comments, you can always reply back to us on social media or at dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, and we'll try to maybe talk about or even mention you on the show. So coming up first, we have, on the heels of casting announcements, a tweet from Lionsgate's Power Rangers official account confirmed the civilian identities of the red, pink, black, blue, and yellow Rangers as Jason, Kimberly, Zach, Billy, and Trini, the names of the first group of teenagers recruited by Zordon in the original series. The 1993 television series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers followed the teenagers who were chosen by the ancient being Zordon to defend Earth from attack against the forces of Rita Repulsa. Directed by Dean Israelite and starring Decker Monterey as the Red Ranger, Naomi Scott as the Pink Ranger, Ludi Lin as the Black Ranger, R.J. Seiler as the Blue Ranger, and Becky Gomez as the Yellow Ranger, Power Rangers morphed into theaters January 13th, 2017. I mispronounced those names because I have no idea who those people are. So, Josh, what do you think, man? Power Rangers movie coming.
Well, like you said, I don't know any of those people, but it doesn't freaking matter. It's Power Rangers, man. I'm so excited for this.
See, and I think we both grew up on Power Rangers. For me, I started off, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but by the time that first movie came out, I was kind of on my way out of the franchise. I still saw the movie on VHS, which I thought, considering, what the show was like, I thought the movie did very well. I still love the soundtrack for the movie. I think it's one of the better soundtracks. But like I said, I was on my way out, so my nostalgia factor is getting me excited about this. When did you jump in? Did you jump in Mighty Morphin, or did you jump in later on with like Turbos or something?
I was the original series, man. I'm one of the original writers.
But how long did you watch it? Did you watch it through when they turned into like Turbo Power Rangers or Space Power Rangers or whatever interpretation?
I remember watching up until the original cast started leaving.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I remember from stopping watching the show. I watched a few episodes every now and then, but there was nothing like the original Mighty Morphin, man.
And I've gone online too, where they had them on Netflix, I think a while back. I don't know if they still do.
Yes,
but I tried to rewatch them, and I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't hold up.
Oh no, man,
it doesn't hold up. So
I disagree. I think it's a great movie, man. I love the soundtrack, like you said. I think the villain is excellent, Mr. Ivan Ooze. That was one of the first movies I saw in theater, man. And, it will always be epic.
That's true. Well, I guess you could say that. I think for me, it depends on how they do this, because if they target like 6 to 12-year-olds, the kiddies, and make it kind of like what the show was, I don't think it's going to do as well. I think if they get that next audience, which is like the 13 to 18-year-olds, that teenager group, maybe make it more of a Hunger Games feel to it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more successful, especially, Lionsgate has had much success with Hunger Games, so I'm sure they're hoping to make more stuff out of that. But the mythology is there. So really, this is depending on the characters, the actors, stuff like that. I'm hoping that because they're getting unnamed actors and actresses to play the cast, they can, pay them a little less and spend more money on the special effects and the action. But when it comes to movies like this, you got to have those three-dimensional characters. You got to care about the characters. You got to make them good. So Transformers lost its way. That franchise, it became all about the special effects and all that, and it lost the characters. So I'm hoping we don't get another scenario like that with Power Rangers.
My thoughts, Lionsgate. Lionsgate's movies, am I wrong, are usually a dark theme movie? Or
Mostly, yeah.
It's a lot real dark.
I mean, a lot of what they've had success with is the Hunger Games, so they're trying to mirror a lot of stuff off of that.
I think it's in great hands, man. Mighty Morphin definitely needs that dark vibe to it. I feel like to appeal.
Not dark, but just more mature. Like, okay, more serious. Like, for instance, I remember an episode of Power Rangers where it was when the original cast was being split up, and like the three of them were going off to like because they won some award or something, and I don't know if they're defending the whole Earth. If 3 of them move away, I don't know why that matters. If they're defending the entire Earth, but they announced it on the TV, and they were like, Jason, Trini, and Zach. They didn't even give them last names, okay? I mean, how could you flesh out a character who doesn't even have a last name? So I'm hoping they treat it with a little more respect and do a little better job on the story and characters than what the original series did.
Did you ever catch the YouTube video of
Yes,
Power Rangers?
I did, with James Vanderbeek. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I mean, most people are like, yeah, they should make it like that. No, they shouldn't make it like that. They should make it in between. Make it between that and the original series. Get that middle road PG-13 vibe. I think you'll be good.
I think of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That first teenage live-action Ninja Turtles movie.
Nice vibe.
Put it right in there, and you're golden.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. So this next one I almost thought about throwing out, but I realized you'd want to talk about it probably, so I left it in here. Very little is known about the upcoming solo Batman movie from Warner Brothers, though we know Ben Affleck is co-writing the script with comic writer Jeff Johns, and Affleck is open to directing the feature. It still has no release date, but Joe Blow reports that Warner Brothers is very eager to bring the anti-hero the Red Hood to the big screen and are eyeing the former Robin-turned-killer as one of the film's antagonists. The Batman movie is said to take its cues from both A Death in the Family and Under the Hood storylines, seeing the resurrected Jason Todd working from the shadows and framing Batman for his crimes. Todd will also reportedly be leaving clues for the Dark Knight as to his true identity in the film, and according to the outlet, we've already seen this first cue in the trailer for Dawn of Justice, as the newspaper clipping labeled "You Let Your Family Die" was a gift from the Red Hood. In addition, Joe Blow reports that the Batman movie will see Jared Leto's Joker featured as a primary antagonist along with the Red Hood. Furthermore, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, will feature in the film, having ascended to the position of Nightwing, and will help Batman in his fight against both Joker and Red Hood. With the film still being in development and potentially many years from release, plans are always subject to change. Now, the reason I almost took it out because I don't like dealing with rumors. I like, reporting on solid, casting announcements and story announcements and stuff like that. So I was like, But the thing when I first thought of this is like, okay, it's going to have Red Hood, Joker, and Nightwing. We already got this movie. It's called Under the Red Hood. It's an animated movie. It was a great movie. Granted, the large audience didn't see it, but I'm like, really? We're just going to do the exact same thing? Which part of me was like, but the other part of me is like, yeah, just copy that. What do you think?
I did see that movie. Great movie. One of my favorites.
It is. The end scene there with where it's Red Hood, Batman, and Joker, and, Jason's kind of venting. Was like, I know you don't kill people, but just him, just Joker, because he always done, and because he took me from you, why, and all that. It was great.
Classic. I felt like I was an Al Pacino monologue going on.
I mean, would you want to see this, brought to life, given the fact that it's already been done, really?
Yeah.
Or do you think they should move on to something else?
No, I think they should copy the movie, man. I mean, make your changes here and there, but you stick to the script, and it's a great screenplay, I think.
I think it's going to go good for that dark vibe that Warner Brothers wants from their DC movies, definitely. I think it fits as well, because if you have an older Batman, he has all this history, losing a Robin, or losing Jason Todd, could be what, made him stop from being Batman, and when Superman shows up, he, goes back to being Batman again. So, for me, that makes sense. If this is true, I'm more excited to see Nightwing, man.
I was just gonna say, are they testing the grounds for Robin there? Are they
I think they're testing for. They're putting Robin in the movie without actually putting Robin in the movie, because they're gonna have the Red Hood and Nightwing, who are former Robins. So Dick Grayson is one of my favorite comic book characters. So to bring Nightwing in, I think it'd be really cool. Especially just my affinity for the character. I think I see them doing this, but the animated movies, like especially as of late, they're doing a lot of the more darker, more popular Batman storylines. So eventually, they're all going to be adapted into live action, which I'm fine with. Like, I would love to see the Court of Owls. That would be such a almost a suspense thriller kind of Batman movie. That would be really cool. So I get that they're going to have to tweak and change stuff, but I'd be okay if they did this if again they treated the property right. Something that I think Warner Brothers has not been doing well with DC properties.
I can't tell if Warner Brothers is just that good by creating these rumors, or if it's just happening by accident.
I think, they could be fishing. Going fishing.
I don't know. I can't tell at this point, man. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Hey, as long as they don't, give a Robin a yellow cape and green spandex, that's fine. I think they'll be okay. Definitely.
All right. So let it be written.
All right. So moving on, man. Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 has officially been put on hold at 20th Century Fox, and there's a chance it won't ever be made. The moment director Ridley Scott announced his Prometheus sequel was being called Alien Paradise Lost, rumors began to fly that Blomkamp's true sequel to James Cameron's 1986 sci-fi blockbuster Aliens was being hung out to dry. Alien Paradise Lost will be Ridley Scott's next film, and while it is a direct sequel to 2012's Prometheus, it will also connect the alien mythology in ways the first movie failed to do. Scott is currently in pre-production on the sci-fi adventure that will continue Elizabeth Shaw and the android David's trip to the engineer's home planet. There, they will encounter a new xenomorph monster and another group of space travelers. The film is said to have connections to Sigourney Weaver's iconic Ripley character. Some even believe she may be born or introduced as a baby. Alien 5, on the other hand, is set to star Sigourney Weaver as Ripley and promises to bring back Michael Biehn as Hicks, with a storyline that takes place between Aliens and Alien 3. At this time, 20th Century Fox has not outright canceled Alien 5, but there is a chance that could happen. It depends on reactions and box office for Alien Paradise Lost, which could end up taking the franchise in a completely new and different direction that may not fit into what Neil Blomkamp currently has planned. Why are we getting Alien 5? I mean, at this point, I'm looking at this and I'm like, look, let's just reboot the Alien franchise, especially now that the Prometheus sequel is being called Alien Paradise Lost. It's Aliens. Let's just reboot it, move on from there. Why go to Alien 5? What do you think, man?
I hated the last sequel of Alien, the Alien franchise.
Oh, yeah. Is it Alien Resurrection, I think it was? Yeah. It was pretty bad.
So I agree with you, man. I don't see the need
they
for
should just move on. I know they want to bring back Sigourney Weaver to pay homage to a Ripley character. I get it, but I don't get it, man. They need to just Prometheus. Yes, did a bad job of it tried to sever its roots from aliens when it should have embraced them. Now it looks like they're embracing them, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, just restart it, get Ripley in there as a kid, recast, reboot. I think it's the best thing for the franchise. But I will say I'm kind of not surprised, given the fact that a few months ago, Ridley Scott was kind of like down and out because his last couple movies, Exodus or even Prometheus, weren't really loved, But then The Martian comes out, and it's number 4 at the box office number 1 at the box office for the 4th time this past weekend, and it's a hit, considered a hit. Neil Blomkamp, on the other hand, had started out really good with District 9. Elysium was and then nobody really liked Chappie. So he's down, and Scott is up. So who's the studio going to, pay more attention to? The guy who has done something more for them lately. So I think that kind of has a lot to do with it as well. I think Blomkamp just move on. I know, he's got this plan for it. That's great, but I think we should just let Scott handle it and reboot everything. That's the way I see it.
Again, I agree with you, sir. Ridley Scott, I think this is his baby, man. If he's up for it, let's let him reboot it. He could easily lead Prometheus 2, pretty much, into a rebooted Alien franchise.
Definitely, it'd be cool. So, all right. AMC debuted the first full trailer for the television adaptation of Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Preacher during Sunday's new episode of The Walking Dead. Preacher, published between 1995 and 2000, tells the story of Custer, a small-town Texas preacher who finds himself merged with a supernatural entity birthed from both an angel and a demon. Endowed with the word of God and the ability to make anyone obey his commands, Jesse hits the road, reunited with his ex-girlfriend Tulip, and joined by a rowdy Irish vampire Cassidy to track down God himself and force him to explain why he abandoned his duties in heaven. Dominic Cooper leads the cast that also includes Joseph Gilgun as Cassidy and Ruth Negga as his gun-toting ex-girlfriend Tulip. A Sony Pictures Television and AMC Studios co-production, Preacher will be produced by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen's company Point Grey, along with Neil Mort's original film. The pilot was written by Sam Catlin, who will serve as the showrunner, and the Preacher is aiming for a mid-2016 premiere. I'm given the fact that you were watching The Walking Dead on Sunday, I'm sure, and you saw the trailer. What was your first reaction to it, Josh?
I'm curious to see where the subject leads and how successful it is. I'm very interested in the subject of angels, demons, and so we'll see, man. We'll depend on how. I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see how successful it is. It looks interesting. At the same time, it looks like an action series.
It kind of is. A long time ago, I actually read some of the Preacher graphic novels, and yesterday I went down to the downtown library. Every couple months I go down to the big downtown library in Austin, and I just load up on graphic novels, both new and stuff that I really like and stuff like that. So I ended up grabbing the first graphic novel of Preacher and rereading it, because it's been so long I don't really remember it. I remember I kind of enjoyed it, but it's been so long, so I want to go back and kind of reread a little and just see what it'll be like. But I love growing up, going to church every Sunday morning. The Christian mythology I've always loved playing with. Like I remember when my dad and I went and saw the movie Spawn, and the whole ride home I had all these questions about the apocalypse and Revelations and this and that and all that. And any show that kind of plays with angels versus demons and God and stuff like that, kind of like the show Supernatural does that, which was a very big highlight for me for that show. Is always cool, and I'm always fascinated by that. So given the fact that it's going to do that, I think it's cool, but I know the original source material is very heavy and dark and will probably piss a lot of people off as far as the way they're going to handle Christianity.
Yeah.
So it's going to get some backlash, I think. But I think if I remember correctly, it's good stuff, good storytelling. So as long as they keep it good, it'll be okay.
Yeah, and if I could, I have my own interest in superheroes, of course. To me, the angels and demons subject matter, the religious side of it, I feel like it's an egg that's getting ready to crack, man. I mean, you're gonna see more. I feel like at some point right now you're seeing the superhero movies. Well,
there's a
set of movies that come out that are
sci-fi.
successful.
Sci-fi has a show that was based off a movie that happened a couple of years ago with Paul Bettany and Dennis Quaid. I forget the name of it, but it had to do with the war between angels and demons and stuff like that. I want to say the show is called Dominion, and I've been meaning to check it out, but it's basically about angels versus demons on Earth, stuff like that. And that mythology just fascinates me. So anything to do with that, I'm really curious about it.
But you can't go about it without pissing people off. At some point, everybody's really so sensitive nowadays.
Sorry, exactly. You got to be PC. Which there's that South Park episode where Muslims got mad because they were going to show a picture of Muhammad, an animated picture of Muhammad on TV, so they threatened the South Park show with violence and stuff like that. And of course, there are a lot of Christians in the country and that are get up in arms when you dabble with their beliefs, so to speak, and you'll have that. But it's I'm not going to get into it too much because that's going to be a whole political, theological talk that I don't think we need to have on this show, and we got too much else to talk about anyway.
Right. So we'll see where it leads. Let's see. I'm gonna definitely watch it.
I'm excited for the show. Definitely, yeah. I'm excited for the show. So, moving on, another topic I'm sure you'll have a quite word about. The mystery of whether or not Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will appear in 2016's X-Men Apocalypse may have finally been solved. According to an article published by Le Journal de Montréal, it seems that Jackman will be on hand for the film's reshoots in January. While it's not clear which of the film's official cast will be involved, the site has some undisclosed intel that Jackman will be involved. It's known that Jackman has one final go as Logan scheduled for 2017's third Wolverine film, but his involvement in Apocalypse has never been confirmed. So far, X-Men Apocalypse was shaping up to be the first X-Men film to not include Jackman. The actor appeared in every film, including a brief three-word cameo in 2011's X-Men First Class. Also, related to X-Men Apocalypse, Evan Peters, who plays Quicksilver, spoke with Details magazine and had this to say about his part in the adventure. The story is that my character is searching for his father and wants to find him. It starts there and then jumps on the X-Men train and he gets sucked up in this whole apocalypse madness. He tries to stop Magneto from destroying the world. So, kind of two different stories here, but they're both X-Men related, so I thought I'd bunch them together. With Wolverine, I think he might have a cameo. It makes sense to give him at least some kind of cameo because he's been in all the movie. I think maybe it might have to do with a post-credits scene setting up the third Wolverine film. I could see that happening too. And in regards to Evan Peters, I'm not surprised because there was that hint in Days of Future Past where his character was like, so you control metal. My mom knew a guy who could do that. And even Michael Fassbender, who plays Magneto, has said, yes, they are father and son. So there's that whole different aspect you're going to get to the film that we didn't think they were going to get to, which is the relationship between Magneto and his son. And that's always been a fascinating part of not only the X-Men, but Magneto and Quicksilver mythology. So I'm excited to do it. I just don't know with all that's happening in the film, they're going to be able to give it the care that it deserves. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I'm excited. I mean, I think about all the graphic novels that we get, X-Men Ultimate, things like that.
Oh, yeah, man.
That. I love that part of the X-Men mythology.
Yeah.
The relationship between Quicksilver and Magneto. So the fact that they're looking into putting that on the big screen, that's going to be excellent.
And it's cool. I mean, the whole thing is, with this one, Magneto is going to become one of Apocalypse's horsemen, so he's going to turn bad. So maybe it's going to be one of those things where it's like his son will save him, kind of like a Darth Vader kind of motif.
Oh, you had to say the Star Wars thing.
I have to get the Star Wars reference, always, man.
I can't wait to see it, man. Evan Peters, I thought was a great Quicksilver. I think they had great chemistry, the two guys there, father and son.
Okay, so it was funny too because when they first showed Evan Peters pictures of him as Quicksilver, everyone was like, "Oh, that's stupid. That's so stupid." But he ended up being like the best part of the movie almost, which is really cool. And I think the fan reaction from his version of Quicksilver, spoiler ahead, is the reason why they killed Quicksilver in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Because, everyone was like, before the movies came out, they were like, you have two versions of Quicksilvers on the big screen. They were fearing that people wouldn't have trouble, telling them apart or accepting both versions continuing in the movie franchise. So I think Marvel saw how well Evan Peters' Quicksilver worked in X-Men Days of Future Past and said, like, well, we don't want to compete with that, and made Quicksilver the sacrificial lamb in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Gentleman move there by Marvel, if that's the case.
They knew they didn't have one that worked as well, so they might as well just bow out, really.
Instead of hurting both franchises.
And of course, that gave them their hero death in Age of Ultron as well, because they had to have somebody die. So, might as well be the guy that is the most, I want to say, useless. But again, that also adds to it because of his relationship with his sister and where Scarlet Witch may go, which you need to continue reading the X-Men books because you're just about to get to the big Scarlet Witch storyline. So continue on, my friend.
Spoiler alert, apparently.
But as far as Jackman, do you think he's going to be in the movie more? Do you think it's just a cameo? Do you think it's post-credits? What do you think?
I hope he has a supporting role in the movie, man. I mean, I love the character. Hugh Jackman does a great job as Wolverine. The guy sells tickets too. Like, just giving him a 10-minute cameo. How many people do you think are going to show up?
Jackman's one of my top 5
if he's in it.
Top 5 current favorite actors. I mean, like I said, the guy can do musicals, he can do action, he can do drama. A great thespian. I'm on board for whatever he does. I heard Pan wasn't that good, so that's why I didn't go see it. But I'm sure he did a terrific job in the movie. But we'll wait and see. Moving on, the Weinstein Company announced that their film, The $6 Billion Man, starring Mark Wahlberg, has been set for release in 2017. Variety reports that the studio has handed out a December 22nd, 2017 release date. The $6 Billion Man is based on the classic and popular television series, The $6 Million Man. The story follows military officer Steve Austin, who becomes part of a top-secret program after a horrific accident leaves him near death. With the help of cutting-edge technology, Steve is brought back to life with extraordinary strengths, making him the world's first truly bionic man. Principal photography was scheduled to begin in September of 2016, with Mark Wahlberg starring and Bob Weinstein set to produce the film. Damien Sifron, I totally butchered that last name, best known for his Oscar-nominated film Wild Tales, came aboard to write the script back in April and has now been confirmed to direct. With this, it's Mark Wahlberg, and I feel it's something that he's going to be good at. Giving it a December 22nd release date means that I think it's going to be a high adventure movie, kind of like a blockbuster feel to it. I think this fits in his wheelhouse a lot better than, say, Transformers 5. I would much rather see this than that. But of course, you had to change the name of it to $6 billion because $6 million isn't enough to make a superhero these days, I suppose. But yeah, I think I'm anxious to see what they do with the property. I've known the property for a while. They had, growing up, they had an animated series called The Bionic Six. And it was the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman, and they had kids. And it was like 6 of them all together fighting, superhero. They called Bionic Six. Oh my god, dude. I gotta show you the YouTube clip of the theme song. To this day, I still have the theme song stuck in my head. Bionic Six, doo-doo-doo. It's totally cheesy, 80 cartoon,
yeah,
exactly.
I see it.
Remember a few years back, they did the Bionic Woman. They tried to revive that as a television series. I think it had 2 seasons, not even full seasons, and that failed. But like I said, bringing this back as a major motion picture with Mark Wahlberg, I think it'll work.
Am I correct? Didn't they almost do a Jim Carrey version of this?
Yes, they did. They wanted to make it
Man.
They kind of wanted to make it goofy almost.
I think this is a great balance. Mark Wahlberg is going to be able to add that comedy relief.
He's got the look. I think he's got the good look.
He'll definitely appeal to a large audience, man.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to do this and not do Transformers 5.
Is he doing both?
He's doing both. I mean, he's scheduled on for Transformers 5, which again, Transformers 5. Bleh. So
well, he'll make some more money.
What it is what it is. So let's just go for that. But yeah, you're excited to see this movie? You think it'll be good?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. It's a little bit before my era. I've heard my parents talk about it a lot. They love the show.
I bet they're probably excited about it.
Definitely. So I think that's a cool. That's smart, man. It's gonna be a great reboot. I guess, so to speak.
Of course. Yep. So cool. All right then. So I kind of flipped the last ones here as far as what I had in order because now we're going to talk about something I could probably talk about for a while. No, it's not Star Wars, not yet. CBS Television Studios has released a statement announcing a new Star Trek series will debut in January 2017. Alex Kurtzman will oversee development of the Star Trek TV project for CBS TV Studios and serve as executive producer. Kurtzman and his longtime collaborator Roberto Orci wrote and executive produced J.J. Abrams' 2019 big screen reboot. This series will be the first since Star Trek Enterprise was canceled in 2005. The next Star Trek film, Star Trek Beyond, premieres July 22, 2016. The TV series will not be related to the upcoming film and will introduce new characters seeking imaginative new worlds and new civilizations while exploring the dramatic contemporary themes that have been a signature of the franchise since its inception in 1966. The pilot will air on CBS with all subsequent episodes then being streamed to its video on demand platform, CBS All Access, which charges $5.99 a month. Star Trek will celebrate its 50th anniversary in 2016 and is one of the most successful entertainment franchises of all time. The original Star Trek spawned a dozen feature films and 6 successful television series. Almost half a century later, the Star Trek television series are licensed on a variety of different platforms in more than 190 countries, and Star Trek still generates more than 1 billion social media impressions every month. I'm going to let you talk first because I'm going to probably go on for a while about this.
Can you breathe after that? That was a lot of stats.
It was a lot of information. I want to get it out there.
That was
I love it.
excellent.
This broke yesterday, and again, I was at the downtown library, and I was going through the graphic novels, and I saw the eight graphic novels of the current Star Trek run. All right, and I'm like, well, I'll pick those up because I read the first couple ones I know, but then I didn't continue. And I love, of course, the new couple movies by J.J. Abrams.
Of course.
And where
Great
they're
movies.
going. So I grabbed those graphic novels. I get to my car, kind of just open up my Facebook, and boom, there it is, Star Trek. And I'm like, well, this is freaky. So, but yeah, what do you think, man?
Law of attraction, I guess, right?
Exactly.
I don't know much about the franchise, man. I love the 2 movies.
Have you seen any of the other previous movies or any of the television shows or anything like that?
No, sir. I saw
Okay.
a few episodes with Patrick
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Make it so.
Yes. And so I'm not very familiar with it. I don't know if I'll watch it, man. I mean,
it's going to be, like I said, I think that's going to be a thing that have got some fans upset, is that, you're going to get the tease, and then you're going to have to, basically pay $6 a month to watch it, is what it is.
that's a bold move there. You're trying to make money off the name there
But
alone.
it's one of the most popular franchises ever. So Trekkies, I think, will pay that if they're not already paying for it. Plus $6 a month, you're going to get all the CBS shows. Like for me, I have Hulu, and CBS is the only shows I don't get.
Ooh.
So I'm paying $8 a month for Hulu. If I pay an extra $6, I get all my CBS shows. So that's $16, or $15 to get all the shows. And that's still cheaper than cable. So
Yeah.
that could work out itself. I mean, I've heard about the CBS All Access, and I've thought about it myself. The only other show right now that I really miss is Big Bang Theory, but I just watched the seasons. They come out on DVD anyway, which I think a lot of people do too. So in that respect.
And then you have Netflix series blowing
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
TV's dying. That cable TV,
Cable
man.
TV is totally dying. A lot of people are cutting the cord. We're getting on a totally different subject matter, but like this last couple of days, I got hooked on an Amazon show called Red Oaks, which is almost like a dramedy Caddyshack feel. But again, it's one of those things where they put all the episodes on there. I watched all 10 episodes in about 3 days, and it was great. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, they got the original series where you watch all the episodes at once. And that's the way it's going. People want to binge watch.
Yeah, it seems like there's some smart people behind Star Trek, so they're definitely going to be cashing on that space thing going on.
So going to Star Trek. Star Trek has always been a predominant part of my, life growing up. My dad, I would call him a Trekkie. I remember when I was a kid, he loved the Star Trek movies. He would always watch the TV shows. I remember, Sunday nights, I think, is when they were on. And he would always watch them. That was his time for the TV, so he'd watch Star Trek. And, I credit my dad as, being the person who turned me on to comic books and Star Wars and sci-fi and stuff like that. But he, there's always been that little tension between Star Trek and Star Wars fans. Kind of like between Marvel and DC. It's that same kind of rivalry. Mm-hmm. Really, there isn't a rivalry, but fans make it a rivalry. So, of course, I've always been much more of a Star Wars fan. And I never really got into Star Trek. But when the new movie, the 2009 movie was coming out, I borrowed my dad's collection because he's got all the movies on DVD, and I went through them all. And it's one of the things that as I got older, I've now learned to appreciate Star Trek better. I still love Star Wars way more, but I've learned to appreciate those Star Trek movies more. Half of them are good, half of them are bad. I recommend you checking them out. They're pretty good. But of course now J.J. Abrams has kind of taken the franchise and gone mainstream with it. Because even when he was making the movie, J.J. Abrams said, I'm not a Star Trek fan, I'm a Star Wars fan. So he put that little bit of adventure, that little bit of a pop into Star Trek, and it worked. Because Lisa doesn't like any of the old Star Trek, but she loves the new Star Trek movies because they're more general audience movies. Again, like I said, you like them too, right?
Yes, I thought the movies kind of gave me this almost like a adventurous master and commander feel to it. It just it was like a modern captain's journal.
And that's what it is. It's
anything.
like where Star Wars, you get lightsabers and dogfights and stuff like that. With Star Trek, again, it was more of it's just like kind of like the old ships out at sea. You come across a ship and you got to fight. You got to fire your cannons. That's what they do in space.
And they follow that one ship. They follow the Enterprise, correct?
Yeah, well they do. No, because then they had Star Trek Voyager as well.
So you had different ships. Okay,
so that
exactly. How much I know about it.
I mean, most of them are the Enterprise, but that one series had a different ship just to change it up. But another thing I like about the series as well, the more I think about it, is in this day and age when you get so many futuristic movies and the future is always so grim, this is one of the few franchises out there that has the future as a bright future. where we meet aliens and we form a federation and we're all trying to live in peace and harmony for the betterment of everyone. And, it's the good thing, When you get all these apocalypse movies, and I'm just like, come on, guys, let's just try to paint the future a little bit more hope, I guess, would be good.
That was great, man. Yeah, that's the balance to it. That's the other side of the scale there.
Yeah, and some Star Trek fans are kind of turned off by the new movies because they've gone more mainstream. And what they liked about Star Trek was the fact that it was more scientific, kind of more thematic, and not just bang bang shoot 'em up. Look at the special effects. But I think, as far as the new series goes, am I excited for it? Not really. Am I anxious to see what it'll do? Yes. It all depends on, again, if they keep with the theme of going more mainstream with the franchise as opposed to trying to stick to hardcore sci-fi. I guess, I think it depends on what they think they're going to make more money off of, which I think would be continuing the more general, middle-of-the-road appeal. But like I said, I love the new movies. I'm excited, for Star Trek Beyond, even though J.J. Abrams is no longer on it because he's gone on to do Star Wars, which...
Moving on.
The fact that he did so well with those first two Star Trek movies is what made me the most excited that he jumped on Star Wars. So...
A little warm-up for him, I
Exactly.
guess.
And he said he's a huge Star Wars fan. But I think another thing that made those Star Trek movies good was the fact that I've listened to the commentary on both of them, was yes, he's a Star Wars fan, but he surrounded himself during production with Star Trek fans. So, my brother-in-law, Ian, is a big Star Trek fan, and he was satisfied with the movies because it still had that Star Trek vibe to it, but again, it was a little more mainstream. So he did very well with that. I'm excited for Star Wars. Anxious to see what they do with the new series. So as far as Star Trek, okay, let's just get into it, man. Time for my favorite segment. Let's talk some Star Wars. A couple things came up yesterday in regards to Star Wars. I will tell you though, beforehand, I actually started reading the new Star Wars comic books, the new canon ones, because everything that was published pre-2013, when Lucasfilm and Disney merged, or Disney bought Lucasfilm, that doesn't count. All the books, all the comics that were published before then, it's all thrown out as pretty much fan fiction. So 2013, starting with the book A New Dawn, started the new canon. Everything's now part of the Star Wars mythology as far as comics and TV shows, movies, books, all that jazz. So I've been trying to keep up with the books, which are so-and-so. There have been a few good ones. Most of them, I've never been a big book guy, so to speak. But I'm a big comic book reader, so I've always been about the Star Wars comic books. So now in the last couple days, I actually started going and reading the Star Wars comic books, the new ones. And I started with Kanan, the Last Padawan, which is a precursor to Star Wars Rebels. And man, it is so good. So good. It's really good. The guy who wrote it, Greg Weisman, is he helped write and produce the first season of Rebels, and he's also written and produced one of my favorite superhero shows, Young Justice. He was the main guy behind that, and I actually since then I've actually talked to him on Twitter a couple times. He's replied to me a few things, and he's actually seems very cool. Very cool. So. But
he's a great character, right? I mean, there's a lot of depth behind the character.
Exactly, because this is all about the first issue was, he just became a Padawan towards the end of the Clone Wars, and the first issue is them developing it, showing the relationship between him and his master, and him and the clones. There's two specific clones they kind of feature, Gray and Styles, and they have a friendship with them, brothers in arms. And then in issue 2 immediately starts Order 66, where his master sacrifices herself to save him, And then the next couple issues are him going into hiding, trying to run from Gray and Styles. And issue 5 is a great, great issue because they finally capture him, and they're like, "You betrayed the Republic," blah blah blah. And Kanan, whose actually real name is Caleb, it's not Kanan. He's like,
Kanan's much cooler.
Well, I guess so. But he's like, he's yelling at these guys like, "How did I betray you? What did I do? We were, fighting side by side as brothers in battle, as friends, and all of a sudden you started firing at us, How was I the one that betrayed you?" Kind of, And it kind of made the clone troopers sit there and think about what they did, And they're like, "Oh my gosh, something's going on. We were totally brainwashed, Because every clone trooper had a chip inside of his head that when Order 66 went off, that's when they immediately went to go and kill Jedi.
Good old-fashioned brainwashing.
And this issue 5 kind of took these two characters, or at least one of the characters, and was like, oh my God, he's right. What did we do? Kind of question that. And you never saw that in the movies because it was just, them following orders and stuff like that. And then to plug, there's another episode of the Clone Wars in season 6 where in the middle of the Clone Wars, something like the Order 66 or 66 is said, so this clone trooper goes and shoots a Jedi, kills her. And everyone's like, what happened? Was the malfunctioning? Something like that. And it turns out that another clone, I think his name was 5, stumbled upon the plans for Order 66. And so Palpatine's trying to hunt down this clone to stop him and shut him up before he, gives out the plans for Order 66 before it actually takes place.
That's cool.
So that's really cool as well. So that kind of plays into that a little bit, where it kind of, shows the clones as more human. And again, Star Wars Rebels is doing that this season with bringing back Captain Rex, one of the more popular clones, and showing him as a good guy who actually took out his chip before Order 66 based on what he saw from 5. Like he saw in Clone Wars what happened with 5, and 5 was trying to tell Rex about what's happening, and everyone thought he was crazy or whatever, but Rex believed him. Rex took out his chip before Order 66, so he never betrayed his Jedi. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. So, Ken the Last Padawan, very good. I'm still got a couple more issues to go to get caught up on that. The next one I want to start is Shattered Empire, which is the first comic in the Journey to the Force Awakens, which takes place immediately after Return of the Jedi. We actually get, into more adventures back of Luke Skywalker, and we have new characters that are actually tie into The Force Awakens. Oscar Isaac's character, Poe Dameron, the featured characters in this comic series are his parents. So we get to see that. So that'll be cool.
Are those going to contain any spoilers for the series?
It might be. It's going to be one of the things, it's like, like anything, if you read the books and read the comics and then go watch the movies, there are things you're going to pick up on that you might not get if you just watch the movies.
Okay.
So like any franchise, if you dive more deeper into the mythology, into the franchise, you're going to get a lot more out of the general audience stuff like the movies or the TV series.
So much there, man.
There is. And that's the thing. The fact that they've thrown out all the old stuff makes it better because now someone can pick up, and you can pick and choose. Again, pick and choose what you like. Like I said, I'm not a big book guy. I'm not probably going to end up reading all the books. I might even not end up reading all the comics. But, you can pick and choose what you like as far as that goes.
I'm excited for this new universe, these new characters, because I get to, find my new favorite character, man. My new favorite hero.
Exactly, man. They're bringing all this new stuff in and just expanding. It's going to be great. So getting on to the actual Star Wars news we have to talk about. The marketing for Lucasfilm's Star Wars The Force Awakens has been shaken from its slumber. With it comes a new international poster for the highly anticipated film. While very similar to the North American poster, some characters have been totally removed and others have been brought to the front. Opening in theaters on December 18th, Star Wars The Force Awakens is set 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi and features a new generation of swashbuckling heroes and shadowy villains, as well as the return of fan-favorite smugglers, princesses, and Jedi. Josh, you saw the new poster. What do you think of it?
Very cool. At first, I thought the female lead actress was carrying a double-bladed lightsaber. That's the way they're blended in.
No. That's one of the things people say is how Kylo Ren's lightsaber and her and Finn, what's her name? No, Daisy Ridley's character is Rey.
Rey.
And her staff, they're similar. They're parallel, which of course leads into the more, feeds into the rumor that their siblings are related in some way. I don't know what it is. But I love this poster because it's not as crowded. I thought the first North American one was so crowded. Here they took out Chewie, Poe Dameron, R2 and 3PO, Captain Phasma, and it's less crowded, but it's still, I feel it still has Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren, even Han Solo, Princess Leia.
Oh, he's directing us to where we're going to be.
I think given the fact that it's an international poster, it's still showing us the characters that are going to be the main part of the movie, I think.
Yes.
So, and I like it. It's, again, less crowded. I think it feels more like... Honestly, I buy every Star Wars theatrical poster that comes out. I buy them online. If you go... You've seen my guest room where I have all 7 films. The posters are hanging there. I'm more likely, I think, to buy the international poster because I like it. I mean, I like it a lot better than the North American one. So I might buy this one as opposed to the North American one, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be cool. Moving on, Some other news came out in regards to something that kind of disappointed me a little bit. Star Wars Force Awakens fans won't be able to bring their most prized possessions to certain theater screenings when the movie comes out. The ban on lightsabers was revealed by Cinemark Theaters via movie posters advertising the December release. In small print below, the information about pre-sale tickets reads, Star Wars costumes are welcome. However, no face coverings, face paint, or simulated weapons, including lightsabers and blasters, will be allowed in the building. Fellow theater chain AMC Theaters will be enacting a similar, though more lenient, policy. AMC's website tells customers, AMC does not permit weapons or items that may make other guests feel uncomfortable or detract from the movie-going experience. Guests are welcome to come dressed in costume, but we do not permit masks. In short, bring your lightsaber, turn it off during the movie, and leave the blasters and Darth Vader mask at home. The restrictions highlight an increased awareness of security issues in theaters following shootings at the screenings of The Dark Knight Rises in 2012 and this summer's Trainwreck. Following the 2012 shootings, both Regal and AMC restricted masks and fake weapons as part of an attendee's cosplay, as well as increasing the amount of bag checks as part of regular security. This summer's Trainwreck shooting reignited discussions about strengthening theater security, including discussions on whether or not metal detectors should be installed in theaters to reduce the likelihood of such an event from ever happening again. I was still trying to decide which lightsaber to bring. Luckily, I'm going to the Alamo Draft House, so as of right now, I don't have to choose that. Cinemark, I totally get where the theater chains are coming from. I'm totally in agreement with it. Lightsabers, whatever. They're still toys, I guess. But I like that Regal or AMC is more lenient. Yeah, bring your lightsabers, but don't bring your guns, kind of thing. I get that.
Totally get it. It's exactly. I mean, with everything going on, honestly, the geek inside me is a little disappointed, a little sad, but I can, I'm looking forward to the movie. It hasn't affected anything.
Yeah. You gotta be.
It sucks, man.
You gotta be respectful. I mean, it sucks in this day and age that we have to worry about it. But keeping everyone's safety is the number one priority, of course.
Yes.
So, and you never know what kind of crazy people are out there. I mean, that are seduced by the dark side of the Force.
I hope everybody can be comfortable and enjoy this film for what it is, and not worry about, not be distracted by anything.
Exactly.
else.
Like you were saying, some people are worried that just going to the theaters nowadays, they make themselves vulnerable, and that shouldn't detract them from going to the theaters. If you're scared to do anything, you're not gonna, not gonna do anything at all. So, in that respect, I just, I don't see it. I see the need for it. I like that AMC is being a little lenient and being more level-headed about it. But I'm still trying to, looking forward to bringing my lightsaber to go see this movie because I am psyched for it.
Same here. I'll be there. Yet to buy my tickets, though.
Still have yet to buy, man. Well, at this point, you're going to see it like a month later because they're all going to be sold out.
No, the 20th is still available.
Oh, good luck with that. Yeah, our boss was getting a little upset the other day because me and then the two guys I bought tickets for, we all requested that night off. And then I guess you said you requested the night off too. And I'm like, why is he requesting it off? You didn't even buy your tickets yet.
Oh, well, I think it was something else going on.
I gotcha. Cool.
So can't think of it right now.
All right,
but
cool. That's all right. All right, guys. Well, that's all we got for today. If you have any questions or comments about this episode or any general questions, hit us up online, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Slim, SLYM, Dayspring12. Josh, where can they find you?
Look me up on Instagram. I'm at IamBatman247.
Which, by the way, I meant to talk to you about that as well. When last week we signed off and I said, same bat time, same bat channel, you being a Batman fan said you didn't know what that was. Did you look it up yet?
No, I did not, sadly.
Fail. All right. If anything, let's all shame him online about that. Okay? Look it up, because if you don't know the answer by next week, you are in serious trouble, my friend.
Agreed.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Later.